Yeah, what's going on? It's your boy Eric, aka Young God, coming to you in the Green Dungeon, giving it to you real raw rugged. And we got somebody on the phone right now. I'm gonna let him introduce himself. Who we got, man?
Yo, yo, you know what it is. Your boy Papa Lot. Mob.
Hey man, we got Pop a lot on here, man. Before we get into this, how you doing today, man? What's going on with you?
I'm doing good, doing good. How about yourself?
I'm doing great, man. I'm talking to Pop a lot, man. let me tell you how I discovered you. I'm really not for sure off the top of my head, but I'm just I think that's what happened. So I'm a battle rap fan. And being a battle rap fan, everybody who is a battle rap fan has probably seen Charlie Clips versus T Rex, and in
Oh,
that
okay.
in that battle, T
Uh
Rex
huh.
brings up Charlie Clips pops being a snitch. So I
Uh
think
huh.
one day, me being from Jacksonville, Florida, I'm nowhere near New York. So that was my first time ever hearing that story. So I want to do some, investigation. And I was like, I just got bored, looked up on YouTube, and I'm pretty sure that your video popped up when you were talking about the what is it, the lynch mob, right?
Uh huh. The 142nd Street Lunch Mob.
Yep. So the lynch mob thing popped up, and then I thought the video was interesting, so I was like, oh, I mean, like, what's up with this page? I go through your page, and I just see you got all these mob ties videos with all these people, and like I had somebody else like recommend me to you, and I just thought it was interesting. I just had the interviews, to get the word out there, so people could be like, so people could just go check out your work, man, because I really think your YouTube is a very, very like it's a gold mine almost, man. So that's just another YouTuber coming from you, man. It's really good, man. You put in some good work.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Definitely, definitely. Yeah, I just try to felt like when I first started, I just wanted to tell stories of people that I felt didn't have the platform to tell a story, or that really didn't wasn't heard about, because in this new day and age, it's almost like they want to suppress the real, but I'm going to do whatever I can with my platform to try to bring nothing but that for real, to be honest. So yeah, that's pretty much how I came. That's pretty much how everything started as far as the mob ties go.
Okay. So what brings you just into like an interest in general and just like street stuff?
It's to be honest, I that's just almost what I grew up in. That's what I always had an interest in more than anything. So with the beginning of the mob tie stories, I started to talk a little bit about the stories that I heard growing up. So um, after I pretty much got through with those, people started coming in with the requests, and being that that's what I was doing anyway. I kind of kept it going, but it's been since forever. Like I said, I was doing the music, so I I remember dropping a song called "Son of Demencio" in 2014,
Hmm.
um, and it's talking a little bit about. It's really just kind of a play off Demencio Benson. I had a song called "Like Ray." I want to say a little bit after that. So even with the music, that was what I was trying to get across, really. And it just happened that it played out the way that it did.
And I think it plays out well because when somebody goes on your page and they go like, oh, I like these mob ties, and then when they keep going down, they'll see some of your music. So I feel like it's a great promotion tool for both. Like if they looking for your music, they be like, oh, I didn't know he made these mob ties videos, or if they didn't know you did mob ties videos, they be like, oh, So I feel like it plays for both audiences, and I feel like both of those audiences are meshed together because you're talking about gangster stuff in your songs, and you're talking about gangsters in general. So I feel like it's just a great promotion tool, a great little thing you got going on. I think it's very just smart, to be honest with you. That's what I think, man. So
Yeah, and it's funny how things work out, because at first, when you never think, like, when stuff happen, you just never think it's gonna happen the way it happened, and that's just really good. It's really just the big homie upstairs to let it play out the way it do. Um, and I don't know. Yeah, it just grew legs. The same message I was trying to get across with the music, it 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 picked up with the mob ties. So being that I was doing the music a little bit before I was doing the mob ties, I'll get some people that know me from the music, and they like, oh wow, I didn't know that you was doing this, just like you said. And some people say, well, I was listening to it for months, and I didn't know it was you until just now.
yeah.
So it definitely worked its way out. If I would be too genius to to say that, oh, I could take credit, like, oh, I knew this was gonna happen like this. I had the strength. Part I seen some of it, but it was the word that I was trying to get out anyway. So I, you know, you just never know that the streets gonna pick up on something like how that is. But that's one thing about the real, and that's one thing about the streets. The real and the real streets are always gonna get behind it, no matter what, because they know what's real and what's not.
uh you say people get behind it when you have like when you have good content, when you just have good quality content and you keep consistent, you're bound to blow up because I feel like quality always prevails. So what was that feeling like when you did like get a whole bunch of subscribers, you got people commenting, hey, do this person next, like how does that feel, just knowing that like people actually like want to see content from you? Like, is that not crazy?
Now, yeah, no, it feel good. It feel good, but it's like a double. It's like double. Like it feel good to me, but I really get the good feeling once I try to cover the topic and then they certify it that, hey, you know what, he was able to tell a story fair.
Mm.
He was able to tell a story unbiasedly, and just because of that, I got a few people that reached out to me to kind of work with them as far as getting their projects done. As far as people that I did mob ties on, it's a guy named Lil D from Oakland. I chopped it up with Convertible Burt down in Miami. So it's some stuff I got in the works on the strength of that, and I guess that's really make me feel the best because they lost a lot of time to the system,
Yeah.
and really a lot of people look at the mob ties. I don't know if it's some people look at it because they want to be just like the people on there, but I'm hoping some people are taking some of the educational aspects from it more than anything. And it just felt good to help people that lost time to society try to get some of that stuff back that they lost.
Do you think that? Do you think it's like or let me take it back. Before you even did the mob ties, like right before you did it, were you thinking that you was going to be in contacts with people like Convertible Bird and Lil D? Like, did you think that was it was like a goal from the beginning, or was it something just popped up?
No, no, I never something like that. I couldn't even imagine really. Like when I chopped it up with Convertible Bird son, and he said people reach out to him all the time. And I guess what made that easier was he heard one of the songs. And I guess another to go back on the question that you had, like on Mob Ties, it's a theme song that comes on at the beginning of it of every episode, like from I want to say episode 20 on. A lot of people like was like, "Wow, it's smart for you to make that song for the Mob Ties." But I made that song, I want to say 6 months before a Mob Ties episode was ever made. So it's
Mm.
just like that's just how it. That's just God. It's all written. Everything is all written. Everything is all written. I really feel like, and come when I chopped it up with Convertible Bert's son, he said, um, Bert was scrolling on the phone and he came across the song, and that kind of like made it easier. And then they went back and checked out everything, and that's what made it. But they said I guess people reach out to them all the time about working together or something like that. So
Yeah.
I just feel blessed. I just feel blessed. I ain't have it in my mind or not. I couldn't have had it in my mind. I just some of the stuff I felt like I couldn't envision. Even being on the phone on the other side of you, just chopping it up about it. It's just like it's
That's
just
it's crazy. It's crazy how like life can just come at you so fast, and you one place at 1 minute, then the next day you got people all over YouTube loving your videos. You chopping up with people that you probably known since you was a little kid. So yeah, I can understand that's probably really crazy.
yeah.
Um, I mean, where are you from? First of all, I probably should ask you that first because I have a question about your upbringing. Where you from?
I'm originally born and raised in Brooklyn, so it's like I grew up. I was born in East New York. I started school in East New York. Um, I went to a school called PS 149. I graduated from there. I went to junior high school. I moved to an area called Flatbush, like right around the time when I was in junior high school, and I lived there pretty much the rest of the time, but I spent a lot of time in Coney Island, where where my grandmother lived,
Mm-hmm.
and most of my cousins and almost a majority of my family was. So, and Bedford Stuyvesant, it's like a lot of places in Brooklyn. I pretty much would say I'm from Brooklyn in general.
Mm-hmm.
But when I got into ninth grade, I went to a school called Prospect Heights. I was a professional school skipper
Mm.
from junior high school. So I was a habitual school skipper. Once I got to high school, they had a new kind of system where they would send like what they call like cut cards to your. They would mail them to your house, and they would let your guardian know. Well, this person missed this amount of classes, and then I want to say during my first semester, my first 9 weeks in ninth grade, my mom got a postcard that said I missed 52 classes or something like that. So she sent me to live in Miami. So I went to after that, I transferred from high school in Brooklyn, and then I ended up in Miami, and I went to a school called Miami Edison Senior High that and located in Little Haiti. I want to say it's on North 62nd.
How long were you living in Miami?
I lived in Miami for 3 years. I want to say I lived in Miami from. Oh, I'm not really good on dates, but if I could think back, I want to say it was from like '95. It could have been from '94. I want to say from '94 to maybe to '97,
Mm-hmm.
'98, right around that time. Yeah, right around that time. I'm trying to think if I could remember something that was going on. I guess if we want to tie it to big events, I was living in Miami when or the big events that I could remember in my
Yeah.
life when Michael Jordan's dad got killed or whatever. I think I was living in Miami. Yeah, when Michael Jordan retired from the NBA the first time, I was living in Miami.
Okay.
Yeah.
How was that? Cause I'm a Florida boy myself. Like I said, I'm from Jacksonville. So moving from New York to Miami, like how is that? Because I feel like it's just as like two different places, like two very different places. So like, was it hard to adapt first coming down here?
Hell yeah, it was hard to adapt at first. Yeah, that shit was crazy because not only do you have like the different kind of just the different personalities you deal with, them niggas was on some shit, man. Like the gunplay was like definitely not a game where I went to school at, and
Yeah.
there was a lot of Americans versus Haitians and versus Cubans,
Mm.
and it's like at my school we was like playing in the middle of it because my school was a majority Haitians and Cubans. At that time, I'm not sure how it is now, but it was a gang called the Zopound that was really coming up before like a lot of the notoriety and before Bad Boys 2 and before Gangland. But I remember them. Red Eyes, some of the I remember all of that like it was yesterday. So yeah, no, that shit was Miami was something different. The scenery was a little bit nice, but
Yeah. It's crazy
it
because
was
like you could talk to a New York nigga, you could talk to a Miami nigga, and just like erasing the accents, I feel like you could still tell which one is from which city. You know, it's just two very different places to me. So it's crazy that
yeah,
you had to adapt to that. It's crazy. That's crazy.
yeah. And then even more than this, it's the accent. It's the it's the slang. Like when I was out there, they would say, "Oh, he a jit,"
Yeah, he a jit.
meaning
Yeah,
yeah,
young boy. Yeah.
like a lot of that stuff you wasn't getting. Um, they wasn't like talking like that. So it's even more than that. It's like the slang and just the culture was just way different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, because New York had its fair share of violence, but I think like New York, a lot of New Yorkers are really tied into their neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
You only really get a few that are going like are moving through a lot of different neighborhoods
Yeah.
and different things, unless they have family members there.
Yeah.
Um, Miami, it's like it don't even matter. It could go down anytime. It could go down anytime. Like it was a wild time. I remember like watching episodes of 48, and I seen them dashing, like chasing somebody from that school right across the street. So I definitely, at first, I thought I was just when my mom like, hey, yo, you're going to live in Miami. I thought I'm going to live in the Fresh Prince of Bel Air. It's going to be like this, and it definitely was different from everything I experienced. But I needed that to get away from my family because it helped turn me into the person I am now, for really.
Okay.
And now I'm in Virginia. I ended up moving. I guess that's how I grew up. That's how I grew up. I lasted in Miami maybe about those 3 years, and then I was doing the same shit that I was doing in New York down there. Once I found out how everything went, and then I got shipped back to New York. I want to say in '98, and I lived in New York from '98 to 2001, and then I moved to Virginia. I moved to Newport News, Virginia when we first moved to Virginia. Now it's just pretty much I'm between Hampton and Newport News, and just going back and forth to New York, trying to make some business moves.
So before we get off the location, I have to ask you, just because I'm from Florida and you brought it up about the slang. Is there a slang word or a couple slangs that you actually like? Oh, that's one of my favorite slangs from Florida. Like you actually kept like, damn, that's a hard slang. I actually like that one.
My nigga was the first. When I first moved down there, I never heard my nigga from nowhere
Really?
else. And the first dude that ever told me that, he told me it wasn't like my nigga, like I am your nigga. He was like, my nigga is like MIA nigga. So that was the first place I heard that. That was the first place I heard jit from.
Yeah.
Gosh, it's been a while since finna. That was they definitely was heavy on I'm finna this. All that. Yeah, I fucked with it. I fucked with it really. Once I got adjusted, shit, I was out there with the smoke and all of that shit. But in Miami was wild because like in New York you got metal detectors to go through the schools, but in Miami you might be in school or sitting down, and they might just bring a cop and a drug dog in your class, and he just like sniffing through the whole class. That shit like blew my mind.
Yeah.
Almost like
it's
yeah,
crazy.
It was wild.
It
was
crazy.
wild.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Miami still I still got family out there. That's still one of my favorite places.
Okay.
Yeah, even just Florida in general. I got people in one of my good friends stay in Orlando.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. I guess shout out to Florida. But another thing when I watch your videos, because I want to get into your music, but before we get into your music, when I watch your videos, I think, because when I make videos, there's certain videos that I think in my head, oh, this is like one of my favorite videos I ever made. I'm proud of this video. Is there a video that you've made so far on these mob ties, or any type of YouTube video that you made that you're proud of? Like that's like your best one that you try to kind of chase after? Like, yeah, that was just crazy.
Oh yeah, gosh, it's a few. I guess maybe if I had to like think right offhand, like the first ones, a lot of times it really be the feedback that I get from the audience that kind of tell me that, because I kind of put my all in each and every one.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like I like one more than other or one person information. Sometimes it's just maybe I might get more from a person that I covered, or I might, like, as I told you, it's like I feel like I'm a student of the street. So a lot of this stuff, it's rare that I cover somebody on mob ties that I didn't hear about already, or hear about some magnitude of the story. But when I go in and I dig deeper, it let me know certain things. But gosh, if I had to pick like episodes, you know what? I do probably have one episode that if they say, oh, you can only keep one mob ties episode, it would be probably the episode on Stephanie St. Clair, because on that episode I really didn't use no video or no nothing like that. It was really just me kind of talking about her based on what I read, and she's just like top 5 probably most influential you gangsters of all time, maybe.
Mm.
Really, definitely number one for the ladies.
Okay. Yes. Speaking of ladies, I just watched the other day. You did one from I forget her name. I know she's from Tampa. The chick that was doing the credit card scams.
Rashid, yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's the biggest one I think we did so far. I think she kind of made a lot of people. I don't know. It's hard because people like now get people and they like, nah, I've been listening to it. So it's not like I didn't do any promotion for it. I just put it on the internet and just seeing what was going to happen. I never shared it on. I never shared it on Facebook ever.
Mm-hmm.
And I only shared it on Instagram once somebody came to me about it, really, because
Okay.
I kind of wanted to see, with no influence, I just wanted to see what the people was gonna think,
Okay.
honestly.
Okay.
And that's probably the biggest one. And I think she kind of helped almost. She kind of helped almost make it pretty much a lot bigger, really. I would say a couple weeks ago, that was one of the biggest videos I did. Now they're just bigger and bigger every day.
Yeah.
We drop.
Now you said something about the St. Clair video where you said that's one of your favorites because it was just you, wasn't no videos, you were just talking. Now I feel like this is a question that a lot of probably subscribers of yours will probably have. What makes you decide if you're like because sometimes you'll talk for a little bit, you might let a video play, or you may let a video play, then you'll talk and you have like the little computer go. Like what decides if you're gonna like just talk the whole through, use the computerized type voice, or if you're gonna let the video play? Like what decides how you're gonna do the video?
To be honest, that's a good question. That's a really, really good question, because at first I would get a lot of bad feedback on the computer voice. At first, the first episodes had a horrible computer voice. So you had to be a fan, or you had to like really want to know about these people to kind of hear those stories. So shout out to everybody that kind of tuned into those. Some of those episodes got 10,000 and 20,000 views now. Shout out to y'all.
See, I'm not gonna lie. I asked that question because I'll be hearing you talking. I'm like, oh, then the computer come out. I'm like, oh, not the computer, because I like the way you be talking. Because I like when you talk about it.
And then a lot of people kind of they like, well, you should read the voice that the computer's saying. First, I am not that great of a reader. First thing first. Second, I can guarantee he's gonna have less mistakes than I have. And then sometimes some people say, well, it can go without the computer voice even towards the episodes. But I kind of put that there because that's still the facts. That's the problem with some of the people these days. It's like they're not really worried about the facts, even though. Like, not that I should be concerned because they're worried about what I got to say about it, but everything I got to say about it is not the straight facts down to the line that what was written and things like that. So sometimes I try to bring some of that information from an indictment that I might have found on the person, or from a credible source, or anything like that. So I think that kind of makes that decision. And then I think it's sometimes when it's a lot of information that I probably need to get to the person, and I don't want to miss out on anything, because sometimes the computer voice might just pretty much, they're going to probably highlight some of the stuff I said too, but they're probably going to fill in the detail that I didn't really get to tell. But sometimes I just be so high. It's just because a lot of times I don't have people like, oh, he sound like he reading, he sound like it. It's not. I don't have no script. I don't have nothing. I just pretty much. It's almost like you doing a freestyle rap.
Yeah.
I get my information almost maybe the day before. I'll probably like really try to study the person as much as I can, based on along with what I already know about the situation. And then I just go right from the heart, right then and there. So it's always times I'm like, oh wow, you forgot to say that you should have said this. So a lot of times I would use the computer voice for something like that.
I'm gonna tell you why I think people probably had a problem with the computer voice. I think it's a psychological thing, because let's say you start with the video of them talking about some real gangster, then you come on and people probably look at you like, oh, Pop Lot a real nigga. I like to hear from a real nigga perspective. And then it cuts to the computer voice, and I feel like that kind of messes up. Like, for example, I watched this show called Ancient Aliens, and it's about aliens. I'm just kind of interested in stuff like that. And I feel like if it was computer voice over the Ancient Aliens show, that would probably go, because it's that's kind of like a nerdy type show, computer voice. It goes with the alien format thing. But when you talking
Oh,
about such a real nigga format, and you gotta kind of like a real nigga perspective, people like, oh, I want to hear this. Then I feel like when the robot comes, it's like, oh man, they kind
they
of like
know
tune out.
they know he not God.
Yeah, they
You
know
know.
they know the robot ain't pop nothing, man.
Yeah, yeah, no, I can understand that. I never thought about it like that. And I'm thinking about trying to. I've already tried to make it more uniform, but I'm really thinking about trying to get a narrator that's going to want to do that, and I'm going to try to really make it better. Just as far as the information I'm able to get, and try
Hmm.
to reach out to some family members and try to do something to maybe like with the episodes to people that are put away, do something to almost help them in a way.
Yeah.
Even though some people might think they don't deserve or need to be helped, but it's just a lot of this life that we live based on how you grew up and who you grew up around. Really, my story ain't no different from two cousins that I got that's doing 25.
Mm.
I could have been them, definitely.
Mm. That's crazy. Well, I mean, hey, um, um, I think that's real. I think that a lot of people when they do things like talk about like gangster situations, they don't think about like the other side of people that got family outside of them walls that that's missing them. Those probably the ones that was getting helped. They was probably doing it for their family, and now they in jail. They don't got no source of income coming in because they all got shut off. So I think I know you kind of put that in your thing sometimes that people struggle sometimes as these people go to jail because that was their job almost as like maybe a son, maybe a
Sole
husband.
provider.
Yeah, it was their provider. So yeah, I feel like people got to look at it from different aspects, just from oh, this black nigger, he was selling drugs in the community or whatever. When it's really much more deeper than just somebody selling drugs and doing bad things, because a lot of these people are humans, just like the people judging them, and people just don't think it like that. So I like that you kind of put that conscious thought inside of your videos too. I really appreciate that. I really
Yeah,
appreciate
well, I try to do my best to show both sides because at the end of the day, it's education and not glorification.
that. Yeah.
So once people kind of realize that, if we could save one person from making that same mistake,
Mhm.
that's the person that we gonna save,
Yep.
and that's how we gonna run it for real.
Okay.
To be honest.
Well, let's get into your music real quick, and after that, we get into some fan questions, and we'll get out of here. Definitely was I was sitting back listening to your mixtape, and I think my favorite song on the mixtape. Let me not mess it up. Let me go to it real quick. What's the second track off the mixtape? It's like El Capti. What is it?
Oh, El Capitan.
Yeah, El Capitan was fire. El Capitan was super fire. So that was probably my favorite
Yeah.
song off of there. So yeah, just let people talk about your music because a lot of people probably know you from Mod Ties and probably less of music. So let's get your music out there too. So let's talk about how you started rapping and your interest in rapping.
Gosh, yeah. How I started rapping? Well, I just seen one of my older cousins doing it, really, and I just, I wanted to emulate what he was doing. Once he stopped, I kept going. That kind of started. I think I signed to the streets at a really young age. I want to say like when I was in junior high school, where I just pretty much gave up on education one step under maybe dropping out of school.
Mhm.
And if my mom would have let me, I probably would have dropped out. So like by the time I got to seventh grade, I just knew I was gonna try to do what I could do with the music or try to get my voice heard. And I just remember kind of really growing up listening to from Biggie and from Nas. Then I moved to Florida. Then they would bang like 8 Ball and
Mm.
MJG. Tupac was getting banged real heavy. I want to say it was even like my cousin was come with like people like Skinny Pimp or some shit like Memphis. My
Mhm.
cousin was away at school in Gainesville. I think University of Florida is in Gainesville.
Yeah, yeah.
My cousin was away at school and she would come back and she would bring all of this wild shit. And then I moved to Virginia and then it just I think that helped kind of like musically, but I can't even remember, man. I started maybe I remember getting whooped from my mom when I was probably like 9 or 10 for writing a rap that like had something that I talked about what I was gonna do with a girl, and I must not have a good enough hiding spot or
Mhm.
something like that, and she found it, and yeah, I got my ass whooped for that shit. I think that pretty much signed me to the streets at that point. I think after that ass whooping, I'm like, yeah, no, I'm on this because if that ain't stop me, yeah, nothing was gonna stop me. I think at that point, so yeah, it was like, yeah, maybe when I was in elementary school because I remember doing talent shows in elementary school. So it's been since like forever.
Okay. Well, I guess we can wrap back around that, look into these fan questions before we close it out. It's a lot of basically the way I've phrased it. A lot of people kind of dropped a lot of questions about could you do it on this person, or what information do you know about this person. So I just name out a couple people that a couple people throw out there. Who is this? Some more. He said, "As has he done a video, or does he know any information about 50 Cent right hand man Monster?"
Monster?
Yeah.
No, no, actually no. I'm trying to get some more information, and really, I'm supposed to go to New York on Tuesday,
Mhm.
and I got a few meetings where I'm trying to get with some people that was from the same area 50 Cent was,
Okay.
Puerto Rican Jesus, and a few other people, Magnetic,
Okay.
um, Supreme Magnetic. It's a couple people that I'm really trying to reach out to. So, no, I can honestly say no, not really.
Okay. Okay. I am Junior Love said he said okay, keep it real and I am Junior Love kind of have a combined question. Keep it real said ask him about West Side Gun. I seen he did a Sly Green episode, and West is some way affiliated with Sly Green. And then
Yeah.
I am Junior Love said, man, Sly Green is old school, Iceberg and LA Gang and them. He affiliated with them. I didn't know Gun was really out here like that. So I guess they want to know any like stuff about West Side Gun, or are you familiar with West Side Gun at all?
Yeah, yeah. Shout out West Side Gun. Shout out Conway. I'm trying to see if I can talk to West Side Gun a little bit about it. I don't know. I can't say yay or nay if he was, but I went to Buffalo 2 years ago, and Buffalo is about that action
Mm.
really. I think that's what a lot of it got to do with, um, because a lot of if people don't know, Sly Green is from Buffalo,
Mhm.
and that's also where West Side Gun and Conway is from. So I think that got more to do with it than anything. But this world is so small that he could have family members down with the LA
Yeah.
that was down with the LA boys and shit like that. So yeah, shout out to Buffalo. Buffalo definitely about it. Um, I I really only found out about the skit from West Side Gun when I started doing the Sly Green episode. Yeah,
Okay.
so I didn't. We had some kind of knowledge of the situation. I just can't speak to how deep that was
Okay.
actually.
Okay.
Yeah, because I don't know the age, but it got to be some kind of age separation. But he definitely probably could have family members that was right there and you know spill blood for that shit maybe.
Yeah. Let's see what else we got. A lot of people are asking about. Do you like have any like knowledge about like gangs, or just like street things that's going outside in Canada?
No, I got a few episodes that I'm working on from like some real G's from Canada. Like I want to say one is a guy by the name of Ranji Chima, if I'm not mistaken. I know I did an episode. I want to say maybe episode 22 on a guy called Bimmy Johal, and he was a real big gangster in Canada. But we trying to do a lot more to like start getting outside because now the followers is like it's growing outside the United States, and we getting more and more requests for us to cover people like female gangsters and just gangs. I know we're about to do Gang Week coming up soon. I did a poll, so if you subscribe to the channel, you might have got a ding letting you know, well, what gang should we cover, and
Mhm.
I list this several few. So I'm trying to do that and try to just do something different to keep, keep the people entertained. Plus, we got some more show concepts that we working on too.
Okay. Is there anybody like out there in the DMV Virginia area, like, cause I know you say you kind of like moved out there. Are there anything when you moved out there you learned about, like I guess learned down here in Florida you learned about like the zoos and anything like that? Was there any like big things out there in Virginia or the DMV area in general that you learned about that captivated your attention?
Yeah, definitely. Like the city I moved to, I don't know if it was just two guys named Allen Iverson and Michael Vick. A lot of people probably never heard of them, but they was from the same city that I was from. So yeah, you would see them, and it was just like Miami was about that gunplay. Bad News, VA, where I was at, is was definitely about that gunplay.
Okay.
It's like that shit's still going on to this day.
Yeah.
Like, but the difference is like this city's so small with the gunplay, you might know the person that was affected by the violence, and you might know the person that inflicted the violence.
Mm.
That's just how wild that shit is around here. So like, and anybody could be a victim, and like
Yeah.
that shit don't even matter. You go outside, it's open target on you. I mean, somebody catch you in the wrong time of night, time by yourself, yeah, you can get it. So you better be ready. That's just how that shit is, to be honest. Or don't be out there.
Yeah. Well, hey man, I guess wrapping this up, it was really good talking to you. I'm always enjoying looking at your videos, man. I'm already know I'm finna look at something fire when I hear that. I'm about as real as they come. I'm like, all right, man, we finna get into this real quick. So I already love the videos, man. And anything else you want to say before we get out of here?
Nah, man, I appreciate you for reaching out, man. I'm definitely gonna keep open line of communication or whatever.
Thanks.
And anything you like got or you need or you want to work on, you let me know. You reach out to me, and shout out to the fans for shooting those questions through.
Yeah, definitely. When we end this, I definitely got a couple stuff in mind that I just been thinking about. So, until next time, I say what I mean what I say.